Welcome to the Manifesting Millions podcast. I am your host, Rashida McFerren, and today in the Rich Auntie Life series, I want you to head over to beacons.ai/Rashida McFerren and check out our freebies and our offerings. Come back over here and spend some time with us. One of the things that I'm realizing as I'm looking back over my journey of entrepreneurship, my corporate career in 2021, I started to question whether or not the way I had gotten to my success was a valid path because I felt like I should have been further along. And so, what does any millennial do? You go to the internet to see how to do something different and how to make more money. I've said this a couple of times on previous podcasts, but I'm going to say it again. I actually knew what I was doing from jump. The only thing I didn't know how to do was online marketing. I am at that point in my business where it's like something should start to make way in regards to turning more profit. And I think it's the risk manager and the financial underwriter in me. I've always been the person with power in the deal. I've always been the one approving the deal. And so now that I'm on the other side of the table, it's so awkward. I feel like I spend a lot of time analyzing when I should be taking action. But at the same time, if I take action, what happens as a result of the action? Because if I take action, it don't work out and I fail and I lose money, then what do I do next? That has been the constant thing that has been playing in my mind over and over again. And you hear all these online pseudo entrepreneurs saying, you just got to take a leap. You got to go for it. You got to jump in the deep end. And I'm like, okay, so after you've done that and it's not necessarily working out the way you planned it to, then what do you do next? Because at some point you're going to run out of money. Then you're going to need a source in order to fund your business. The next question becomes, is the business really worth continuing to fund if it's turning into a liability? There are so many questions that snowballs. Here's the thing. I've started a million businesses. I've gotten to the point in my journey where I'm like, at some point, one of these things, it's going to work. The challenge has been that I would get started with something and it would work for a little while, but then you kind of hit the bottleneck. And that's been my cycle off and on since I've been launching businesses. If I had to go back to do it again, I should have been raising money from the jump. When you're the approver on a loan, you're the one with power. Me being in the opposite seat has me questioning whether or not I really want to be in the seat. I know that's part of being an entrepreneur. You get to questioning things that you normally wouldn't question, but I don't think I've ever had the desire to just run businesses for the rest of my life. I'm an investor. That is what I do. That is who I am. I know money. Money knows me. We flow together very eloquently, meaning I know how to approve and deploy money so that it works and makes stuff grow. That's my strength as a professional. That's what I've been doing as a risk manager. That's what I've done as a financial underwriter. And especially being at the point I am in my career, I hit 20 years next year. I am looking to retire. I am hoping. My point is, I messed up thinking that I didn't know what I was doing when I started my business. And then listening to the internet hype of invest in yourself, spend all these thousands and thousands of dollars to learn from these gurus who teach you these cookie cutter systems and you try to implement them in your business, literally, then none of that shit works. You know what did work? When I went back to doing what I was doing before I spent in excess of $10,000 on all these programs that weren't worth a hill of beans, as they say in the country where I'm from. And here's the truth about Rashida from jump. Had been in banking and financial management for the last 17 years before I started this business specifically. Here's the thing about me. I've always been tight-lipped about how much money I make because I've always thought it uncouth for you to be able to share and constantly talk about how much money you're making. That is so unclassy. In this day and age, you have to reveal some specifics about how you make your money in order for it to be proof. And everybody is on this no gatekeeping thing. Who said we were gatekeeping? I wasn't gatekeeping all those years. Honestly, 19 years now, because it's not like I stopped my career when I started this business. I kept working. You got to keep something rolling. And then there are other instances over the last 2.5 years where we've lived off of my investments and we've been just fine. Again, what did I say at the beginning of this podcast? I am an investor, period. Just because you are a business owner don't mean you make money. Trust you me. I know a ton of them who are broke, literally, always looking for their next big win. And that's the other part of the system that I don't like. The feast and famine of it is so inconsistent. And the reason I think I've struggled with the ebbs and flow of it is because I am a risk manager. It's literally who I am at core. What I'm realizing now, anybody today can call themselves an expert and go all in on making themselves look like a celebrity. Hey, if that is you, have at it. Do I understand that being a public figure and having a public facing brand now is the way of the world because we've shifted in our culture and our society and the way we consume because millennials are literally about being real? I get that. I understand that. You have to be able to see the evidence in their life. And even after you've gone through, watched all these people, taken all these courses, and spent 5 figures investing in yourself, these people are no better. Do you understand me? Than you and I. Just because somebody is a millionaire, it doesn't make them special. It shows that you got money in the bank and that you're smart with the way you do your money. That's what that shows. But I am so far focused on the AI aspect of my business. I am focusing on improving and going the extra mile because I had an AI course when I took the first girls course back in 2022. I just was uncomfortable sharing it because it felt so awkward and out of sorts because we just weren't embracing AI at the time. It's interesting to watch the flip over the last year. Now I'm taking my course to the next level, Rashida AI. I've built up this huge list, this following, almost 45 to 50,000 followers across social media platforms. And for every one of you, you know how hard that is. And granted, yes, most of my stuff is on TikTok because that is my social media platform of preference because it's been the more fun app. I've been able to use that in the way I serve my clients in real estate and my business, and I love that. I just wanted to jump on and say that if you are a specialist in doing something and you're good at it, keep doing it. At Bank of America, we were working on AI stuff in 2016. We were doing AI improvements and trying to figure out how to simplify processes and systems in the enterprise risk and compliance unit in global risk, in global wealth, in AML, and it eventually worked out really well. If you're afraid about AI taking your job, don't be. Just go get a new skill. That's the beautiful thing about my spirit and soul. It doesn't matter how long I've been doing something, I'm always open to trying something new. And that's been the beauty of building my platform on TikTok because while I communicate very well with millennials, majority of the people that watch my content are Gen Z, my son's age. Isn't that crazy? Because number one, everybody wants to be a millionaire. And number two, everybody wants to live in a beautiful house and everybody wants to drive luxury fancy cars and have that life. Everybody wants those things in life. What I also found is that in finance, they take a lot of stuff and make it look really difficult when it's really not. And they do that intentionally 9 times out of 10 to keep you out of it. As my son gets ready to transition out of high school and go to college, it was always my plan to pick up a travel role when he did that and or take off for a year. Here's the thing. I have no desire to take off for a year right now. None. Or travel like that. Do I want to go on some vacations? Yes. Our generation has ran the digital nomad thing into the ground so much to the point that it is like literally diminished the desire for me to be out there exploring. I told my nephew less than a week ago, sometime next year, I'm going to fire financial independence, retire early. And you know what I'm going to do, nephew? I'm going to go take on a senior job at a firm, travel, and start a different career. I can see the world in my off time. For those creators who are out on the internet and on TikTok telling you to quit your job and not work yourself into the ground, who ain't got a job and ain't never worked a job and probably is living off the government some way or how, because they done pimped the government either into giving them some type of assistance, some kind of government check. More power to you. By the way, we pay those taxes for you to have that check. Hello. It's hard for me to take people like that seriously because you don't have the internal fortitude or the discipline to get up and just even go to a job every day so you can take care of yourself and your family. Can we be real about some stuff? If I come across one more internet dude who swear he a muscle building, what is it? What pro that ain't got no real job, that got kids out here and lead a mama with the responsibility of taking care of the kids while he's off trekking across the world? Child, like I'm so tired of seeing that framework play out. And it's a lot of them. And I don't know what it is about the dudes. They seem to think that because all of a sudden men have muscles now. These last 20 years, y'all ain't never had no muscles. All of a sudden, where y'all get muscles from? Because y'all been looking like some scrawny dudes for a long time and tight shirts and they pants is tighter than mine. It's like you can't breathe like that. Bro, let them pants loose. But anyway, like all of a sudden they're high value men and we're supposed to respect them because they got muscles that they built in a gym taking steroids so women can look at them. You know how insignificant and insecure you look to most established women who are about that life, are about getting a bag, securing a bag. You look like a liability to us. That's what you look like. Somebody who gonna leave you with a hair weave that you don't need because they're gonna make your hair fall out. I don't know if you ain't got the memo, but if you missed the memo, grown women, women who keep jobs, take care of their financial responsibilities, take care of their families, are done taking care of broke men who think we gonna foot the bill. Ciao, bye. Get out of here. I will be the first to tell you, honey, it is not worth it. My peace is worth more than your stress. Hello. But later for the men who think we're gonna take care of them, no, sir, we're not. Anyway, like I said, I am not going to be trekking off over the next year. I am going to be starting a second career and I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to experiencing this new phase of life. But if you're already an expert, you already got a 7-figure lifestyle, honey, listen to me. Don't let anybody else tell you that you did it wrong and what they were doing is right. There's no one way to get to success. But let me tell you what is required in the process of manifesting millions: action, dedicated, committed, singular focus on getting actionable results is how dreams manifest into reality. That's not going to change nothing in regards to how this market is ran. We live in a capitalistic society. How you pull money in, bring money in, that can change. But I'm just saying, for me, it's like a light bulb moment of, girl, you knew what you was doing from jump. Keep doing that. And if something that they're doing is something that you can pick up and utilize and turn into coins, then okay. But if it's not, you leave that stuff behind and let them do what they do and you stay in your lane. Like, oh, that's the stay in your lane. Sometimes you just gotta focus and stay in your lane. That's what I've proven over the last 19 years of my career is by staying in my lane, stuff gets done. That is what works. Consistency equals success. Consistent, specific action committed to a desirable result at the end equals success for me. That's all I have for today. I'm going to stop talking out the side of my neck. And I got to finish putting up our Christmas tree so we can do some TikToks in front of it. I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out. But I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season as we have just got this week started and we're heading into the 10 days before Christmas. And I hope you have a happy new year. I am pretty sure that I'm going to record probably a few more episodes before the year is out. But if I don't, and then it's 2026, when you hear from me again, have a great holiday season. I look forward to connecting with you in the future. And until when, I will see you in the next episode.